If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch. Fleshgod Apocalypse, an evening in Perugia?
Yeah, that's what I've got, Perugia.
Italian symphonic death metal masters. Fleshgod Apocalypse are great in their own right, and you've only done one song by them. Here comes the second one from an evening in Perugia. Concert, hopefully, he says. And you are you're getting what you want. You're getting what you hoped for. We're gonna do the official.
We're doing the official on
Official
one.
live.
Okay, guys. Now listen. Here's the deal with official. If you're new, you'll notice other reaction channels, they cut up the video every 15-30 seconds or so, and the reason they do that is because they are trying to avoid the copyright strike. So, you know, when you see an ad on YouTube, you get half of it, and Google gets half of it. Mm-hmm. What happens with a copyright is that the record label comes in and swoops up and takes your half. When that happens, that's you know, you get a little message, and that's okay. We're fine. We're fine with that. That's why we do the Patreon. That's why we have other things. So that's okay. If they get really chippy, you'll see the stream will get suspended. It'll say stream has been suspended. The music will stop. It'll say stream has been suspended. We're not going anywhere. Stay in the chat. We're going to be right there. It comes back after a minute or two. If we get a copyright strike, they take down the entire video.
Yeah, you
won't see us for the rest of the night.
And then you'll know.
So there's always a little bit of a risk.
So if you're hanging out in darkness, stay there.
Yeah.
If you get booted out, well then go back and check out one of our other videos.
So this is them live, an evening in Perugia. Here we go. Oh, he's going for it. Let's do this.
Buonasera a tutti!
Buonasera a tutti!
Benvenuti a questo concerto speciale dei Fleshgod Apocalypse! Questa sera facciamo la storia di questo posto, anzi facciamo la storia del metal italiano! Questa è Healing Through War!
Talk that shit, boy! Ah, it's a new song. Ah! Healing Through War that's a new song.
So sad for you.
All right,
That was a good song.
Fleshgod. Yeah, that's going in my into my what do you call
In
it?
your playlist. Okay, when it first started, I was like, nah, this one's getting a 6. This is gonna get a real low score. I didn't really. But as it progressed,
Oh man,
and it got more and more and more and more and
that
more.
chorus was crazy.
Wow.
That chorus was unbelievable. It looked like it's talking about a king who's dealing with traitors and trying to figure out how that's gonna work. I don't know if it's based on a historical person, but do you get the lyrics?
Yeah, I got it right here. Bow your head before your king, as I am the bringer of light.
Can you send me the lyrics, Ya Habibi?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like this song right here, man. This was hard, bro. This is very, very, very hard. As in, honey, doing it from Genius is never a good idea.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to be
separated
faster.
by a bunch of commercials.
Okay, I just thought it was going to be faster than.
Man, I love this freaking song, bro. I love this song a bunch. Holy smololi. Okay, so it looks like it's talking about a king who is surrounded by a bunch of traitors and he doesn't know who to trust. And he's trying to root out all the traitors in his kingdom. And it looks like that's what's going on. And he's asking God to guide his way because he feels he's in the right, which is a very fascinating concept to me. Remember when we were watching that show, The Tudors?
Yeah.
And that king, and like
I like that show.
It's just so fascinating how he really truly felt like he had a divine right to rule over all those people.
He did. He did, but people are funny. Like anytime they get like a little bit of whatever, it just like explodes their head. Like I'm never going to forget, you know, when COVID was in full swing and I've seen this woman working at Walmart for years. Like I was probably a child when I saw her working there. Like she's been there forever.
Child shall lead them.
And like she's not a manager, and we came, as a matter of fact, she puts the fruits on the shelf, and we came in and she asked you where your mask was. She was interrogating. She was telling you to show her your mask to make sure you were going to put it on. I thought to myself, holy shit, this woman, I'm telling you, she would never say anything to, you know, she just did her job. She kept quiet. If you asked her for something, she just helped you with it. It was but all of a sudden she got all this authority, and I was like, who's you talking to my husband like this? I'm thinking this woman is crazy. But she got a little bit of authority, and it just shot her right to the top of I couldn't even believe it. So like here, you know, if you had a king, how much more? Like, you know, she had like a little bit of authority because they want people to wear the mask.
She had no authority.
Well, in the sense of the store had a certain policy that they were trying to enforce. I mean, they actually had like these hired cop people outside to make sure you put it on before you went in. Remember that?
Yeah, but not that situation. That situation, like
that
they
had been done with, and now it was just the associates wanted to keep it going.
Well, they had ran out of masks, and then they had these other masks, and they were just dumb. And I said, I'm just not doing it. Like I had reached my limit.
You know what it looked like? I'm not joking you. You know at a wedding, like the garter belt that they put up the leg, it literally looked like a garter belt. And it would like go like the ruffles around the ears.
Listen, I was a good citizen during that whole COVID thing. You go back.
Goes, no.
You go back. I didn't even make a big deal. I just looked at it. I said, I'm not doing it. I said, I've reached my limit. I reached my limit.
I forgot about that. That's
yeah,
so
it wasn't. And then she's like, you know, I just walked past her.
She said we were supposed to.
And she's like, "Hey," and you turned around.
Yep.
That's it. I wasn't even gonna like deal with her. You
Honestly, like sometimes I feel like I've been so institutionalized by like people yelling at me randomly, because it always happened like, you know, when you're like in your formative years, you'd be in school and they'd be like, "Don't run in the hall, don't do that." Everybody was always after you.
I just said, like, I just hit my limit, and I said, I'm not doing that.
Your head did that thing.
Huh?
Your head does this thing.
Yeah.
When it.
Yeah, I just
tips down a little bit.
I just see, she's like, I said, man, mind your business. What are you doing? I said, go back to work, man. What you on? But
I was like, oh no.
Like, yeah, but this guy but it's kind of like the same thing with the king, like.
Oh yeah.
Some of it.
Sometimes when I think of being like, I'd be like, okay, well, if I was the queen, what would I do? And I always think to myself, yeah, apart from God, I can just see that going south. Having all that power, all that authority.
Yeah, but the idea that somebody who's just a regularly constituted human like you has the right for the rest of their life to rule you just because of...
It's crazy.
Like,
yeah.
But some of this has to do with being an American.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Americans, like, we don't understand that. Like, our leaders have to, you know, apply for a job every 4 or 2 years or whatever, and they have to kiss babies and all types of shit in order for us to, you know, divest some authority into them. You know, this idea that, I'm still not sure how the political system works in the UK. Like, I initially was told that the king and the queen or whatever, it's just like more of like show and tradition. They don't have any real power, but apparently they do have real power. I don't know, but that whole idea to me is just crazy to me.
Well, we know that they can pew pew people if they don't want them around.
Because even in biblical times, the person would say, "What are you talking about? There's kings in the biblical time." Yeah, they had to go to war. Mm-hmm. They had to do jihad.
Yeah.
Like. I'm fine if you're saying like
people in that sense.
If you're saying like you're literally the commander in chief and you're gonna go do jihad, okay, that's one thing. I still think it's weird that you have all this extra power because you know you're not doing jihad by yourself, but at least that makes sense. But like this whole structure where you just send people all over the place to do all types of bidding and whatever. So he's saying like, bow your head before your king, as I'm the bringer of light, the chosen one amongst all men, the Lord and Master of light. But who decided it all? Shut up, servant. Respect divine right. So there it is right there. The servant saying, yeah, but who made you the...
Yeah. Who made you Lord and Judge over us?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? He said, shut up, respect divine right. God did, basically. For I belong to the elite of mankind, enlightened guardian of justice and right. My word is law, or it's eye for an eye. Okay, so that... That is the idea that, look, no matter how oppressive or authoritarian you think the government is, it's better than anarchy. Right? My word is law, or it's eye for an eye.
I mean, it depends.
What do you mean?
I think you could kind of say that, but when you look at, like, some of the way that some of the leaders have gone, like, it probably would have been better eye for an eye. Like, well, I specifically, like, what is it, Queen Elizabeth? How she, like, ruled with fear and blood.
Well, Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, I mean, yeah. Her.
What about
Elizabeth wasn't like that?
What about it? What are you saying? I mean, we're Protestants. So
you're saying, like, it would be better to have some law versus eye for an eye, but I'm
they're
saying
in anarchy, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, maybe, like, it got really bloody at times when certain leaders were in there.
Yeah.
You're saying the destruction of one because it can only focus its attention in certain directions.
Yeah, you should watch
is preferable.
Vice Guide to Liberia, where like 98% of the women had been sexually assaulted, 80% of them had AIDS.
When it was anarchy,
and you had dudes cannibalizing. You know, that's the General Butt Naked. He used to cannibalize these kids, and then go out there and kill everybody and eat them. Like that's
okay.
Like that. Again, the people that are speaking, the people that are against anarchy. Now, anarchy itself is like, I ran into a Christian anarchist a couple days ago, and I'm like, yo, I need to read some of your literature, because, you know, I give everything a shot. But, yeah, I'm still, because of my understanding of human nature, and because of Romans 13, that God sets the kings in order. So, God set Bloody Mary in order there. So... if it was better for the people that Bloody Mary,
wow.
if it was better for the people that Bloody Mary wasn't there, then she wouldn't have been there.
That's crazy.
But it's better to have one Bloody Mary than a whole country full of Bloody Marys, because biblically that's the
crazy.
purge.
Yeah.
Right? Like, would you rather Bloody Mary or the purge? Like that. That's my current view of humanity. I'm very skeptical about anarchy as a political system actually working. Because
I agree with that. Well, it hasn't worked historically. Anytime that you had an area that was off the grid, it always goes bad.
Well, I talked to an anarchist one time, and I said, well, do you run your house like an anarchy?
Right.
And he said yes. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, your little kid comes home with a G.I. Joe they didn't buy. You're gonna let anarchy reign there, or you're gonna impose some law? Like, obviously. Like, and I understand, like, the government is not necessarily your household, but a government is a collection of households. I'm not completely and totally against it, because I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about actual, they tried to do this during the George Floyd uprising, like the CHOP. I don't know if you remember that. Like, they had cordoned off a section of Seattle.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't go
well. It was
well.
just a disaster. But I don't think that's good. I didn't report on it in Middle America, because I truly don't know enough about anarchy and anarchists to make commentary, and I felt like if I reported on the CHOP, it would be completely skewed, because I'm like, they're probably not doing that the right way. So I don't want that to be like my commentary on anarchy. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of left it alone. I was trying to get with some anarchists and get them to, like, explain to me the difference between what happened in the CHOP versus what happened in their, or what happens in their perception of how an anarchist community would go. But for me, I'm like, I don't know, man. To me, it just feels like it's just going to devolve to who's the strongest.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how anarchy accounts for human sinfulness. Like, we had this discussion in Middle America where the person was criticizing capitalism, and I said, of course, but they were like, capital creates greedy people. And I said, well, no, greedy people created capitalism. Like, it's not the economic system that's the problem. It's the operators of the system.
Right.
And I do think, obviously, that some form of socialism is less injurious to the human soul than capitalism. But I still think there's you can still be a greedy corrupt and whatever. Like a week ago, I had a bunch of people from the UK saying that they're not going to send their grandmother to a fucking NIH hospital or whatever, because they're like pulling the plug on all these old people over there. It was like multiple people like, yeah, you can't, you know, in NHS, don't bring your your granny to it, whatever, because it was like multiple people were saying that in our chat. Like, what are the odds? So I am not saying that anarchy is like is the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't seem to me to account for human sinfulness.
Yeah.
If you believe that everybody's basically good, then anarchy makes sense as a principle. Mm-hmm. But if you believe that everybody's basically inherently sinful, then anarchy is the worst of all possible governments. But again, I don't know enough. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I read this book, Chasing the Dragon. It's a really good and crazy read if you want to hear some crazy sides of Christianity and what it does in different places. Anyway, it's a crazy read. Really, really one of my favorite books. Anyway, but there was a certain part of the city that was like that. It was sectioned off, and there was no law enforcement that would enter this area, and it was the most dangerous place. It also got extremely unsanitary. It was just letting everything go. Just people just went into chaos.
Yeah. I'm not. Again, you have to account for human sinfulness, you know. But if you don't, but if you take a paradigm where if you have like a metaphysical, like evolutionary paradigm where it's like, just like we've evolved physically, we're going to evolve mentally or morally. Mm-hmm. And so we're constantly getting better on a moral perspective, because you've got a sort of moral evolution. Like that's kind of like modern secular humanist philosophy. Then that's going to work, and the longer time goes on, the better and better the anarchy will become. Mm-hmm. But it's just not true.
Right.
We have not evolved morally. We're in. I'll say this, like, Jesus, the Sermon on the Mount, all that, Paul did say there is a law of Christ.
Yeah.
So there is a law, right? And the question is, what system or what template can we put down on a society that is gonna produce the greatest joy for the longest period of time for the most people possible, and reduce harm.
Yep.
To the greatest group of people for the longest time for the most people possible, right? And so it's like, if anarchy was that template, I would be with it. I just don't see, but maybe there is something within anarchism that accounts for human sinfulness. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't just say it's wrong, or I can't say it's crazy or it's impractical or it'll never work.
So when are you going to hear from the homie that believes that he's a Christian and an anarchist as well?
He is a Christian. He is a Christian. I have no doubts he's a Christian.
What did I say?
He said he believes he's a Christian.
No, I was meaning that he believes in Christianity and anarchism. This is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, he's a Christian anarchist. Yeah.
Yeah. So when are you going to see his stuff?
Well, if you think about his argument, judges. Well, I think he's probably going to argue that judges had an anarchist system, because there was no guy at the top.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, when you're in trouble, this war chieftain will go fight your battles, but then after the chieftain fought the battle, he would go back home and go back to doing the laundry. So there was no king at the time.
You're probably right.
But you still had a law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You still had a law. And so I don't know. I'm very, very interested in it.
Yeah.
I'm very, 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 very interested to see that. But this king obviously is like, no, I'm here by divine right, and whatever this guy does, ancestral pride to preserve my bloodline, he justifies everything that he does to maintain that power, because God put him in that place, right? So it's not that you're just a lecherous bastard who's like power hungry. No. It's God put this in place, and I have to do God's will, which just so happens that me and my sons and to the 19th generation are supposed to rule you people and take all your capital. This shit is crazy to me.
Some stuff is just all too convenient.
Yeah, it's but for the most part, judges didn't have an anarchist system. It's far closer to tribal confederacy. Yeah, and again, they did have a book of the law. And there were judges in the law because the priest was supposed to adjudicate, and the judges were supposed to adjudicate. So, but it wasn't a, a formalized system like what we have now. I don't know. Will anarchy work? I don't know. Shout out to Luis from Brazil. I'm not sure. But I'm very. This is my favorite song of the night. This is actually going to my. This actually made my playlist. So that means it's a 9.8.
What? I wish you would have let me speak first because I was going with a 9.8 as well. We've been linked the whole night almost on our score.
Well, there we are. 9.8, dear listener.
It is.
We have one more song.
There is one more song, Will. So it's not over yet. Testament is up next. The Formation of Damnation.
The Formation of Damnation by the band Testament. We shall be right back. Be there, be square. You don't want to be square.
No.
Who wants to be square?